I have a few questions for you for us to reflect on today. My first question is, who taught you how to rest? And how did they demonstrate rest in your life? My second question is, who taught you how to work? And how did they demonstrate the way you work? This is where my story begins. I was raised by women who did it all, who sacrificed for it all, and paid a heavy price for their labor. My grandmother, she was a homemaker who raised 12 children, all while working as a seamstress. My mother, an entrepreneur who built multiple businesses, all while caring for family. The women in my community, these women were brilliant, faithful, high-performing, and career-driven. But in all of their excellence, no one ever modeled rest. You see, I've never seen a rested woman. What I saw instead was exhaustion masquerading as virtue. And this just wasn't personal. It also was my cultural experience. And it nearly cost me my own identity. You see, in my culture, you have one fear, and that's not to be identified as lazy. Everyone must earn their keep. And God forbid, if you sleep in on a Saturday morning while mama's up cleaning the house, you got up, you got busy, and you proved your worth. And although this is my cultural experience, it also speaks to a larger truth. For many, the American dream came at an unspeakable cost. Generations taught both men and women that relentless work is the only way to prove your value and worth, and that rest is a luxury we couldn't afford. According to the Mercer's Global Report, 82% of employees are at risk of burnout. Exhaustion has become this badge of honor, a testament to how much this mentality has taken root. But I'll be honest with you all. I've seen the cracks for far too long. As an executive leadership coach and trainer, I sat across from countless women who will all admit the same truth. Ashley, I'm tired. And not just physically tired, but so tired. They will admit that they don't want the corner office or the next big promotion if it will cost them their peace. See, I lived this reality firsthand. At the height of my career success, I just got the dream position and title that I sought after for years. Only months in, I felt depressed, depleted, and drained. I would go into work every day, and I felt this overwhelming pull between my home and my workplace expectations. My mind was in constant overdrive, and rest never felt like rest. One day, as I was sitting and reflecting over my life, I realized one terrifying truth about myself, that I didn't know who I was when I wasn't performing, that I've only known the version of me in survivor mode, that my identity has solely been wrapped into the work that I do. And all of my life up until that moment was driven by goals and accomplishments and calendars and meetings that even silence with my daughter felt like failure because I couldn't separate my being from my doing. And instead of me holding on to life-fleeting moments like being at the park with her, I had this undone checklist in the back of my head of things I needed to get done. Then one day, an unexpected exchange came back to me in the thick of my burnout. I was driving in a car with my 4-year-old niece, Mackenzie, at the time, and I wanted to engage her as we often do when we want kids to talk. So I said, hey, Mackenzie, tell me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she looked at me with these big, beautiful brown eyes and smiled, and she said as confidently as she knew how, I want to be a flower. I said, no, Mackenzie. I mean, what type of work do you want to do? Maybe a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher? What type of job do you want to have? And she looked at me, unfazed by my questionings, and assured me, I want to be a flower, Auntie. And I would tell you, it was the funniest thing ever. And we went about our day. But for some reason, in the thick of my own burnout, that exchange came back to me. You see, I finally understood what she admired about the beauty of flowers. Flowers don't force their growth. They don't bloom year-round trying to prove their worth. They rest in winter. They take deep roots in darkness. And most importantly, they understand their season. My niece taught me something that I've never learned, that growth isn't grinding, and life doesn't give you any breaks. You must take what you need when you need it. See, all my life, I realized that I was working against myself, and her realization changed everything for me. I began to understand that rest isn't the opposite of ambition, it's the foundation of it. It isn't this reward that we get at the end of our successes. It's the strategy that makes our success possible. Rest as a strategy has shown up in 3 different pillars in my life: permission, personal boundaries, and presence. 1, giving yourself permission to just stop without justification. Often, when we need to take time away from work, we will cite the reasons being that we need to go on vacation, or we're taking care of our kids or ailing family members. But what if we become a society that simply celebrates the fact that people need to rest? 2, personal boundaries. Personal boundaries around your time and your energy. Can I be honest with you? Okay, here's a secret. No really is a complete sentence. 3, presence. Being present in the moments that matter most with the people who matter most. What this often looked like for me is opting out of Saturday morning errands just to have slower mornings with my daughter. It meant taking actual lunch breaks instead of sitting in front of my computer and working through lunch. It meant just being present and closing my eyes and having moments throughout the day. These aren't grand gestures. These are small acts of resistance against a culture that demands constant availability. And this isn't just personal revelation. It's also research-backed. The Harvard Business Review says companies with well-rested employees experience higher innovation, better performance, and lower turnover. When I began to rest, not just sleep, but truly rest, my work became more focused, my relationships deepened, my creativity heightened, and I became available, not just to everything and everyone, but to the people who matters most. I began to model a different way for myself, for my daughter, but also for Mackenzie. We live in a culture that treats exhaustion as virtue and rest as failure. But what if you're not tired because you're weak? What if you're tired because this world has convinced you that your rest is failure? In a world that would gladly consume our time, our energy, and our peace if we let it, what if wanting to be a flower isn't naive at all? What if it's the wisest thing any one of us could ever decide to be? But here's the thing about flowers. Are you ready? They don't bloom alone. They often grow in gardens. What if your rest gives someone else permission to stop performing? What if your peace become the blueprint in which someone else can follow? Mackenzie is 11 now, and she did inform me that she no longer wants to be a flower. But if she did, I want to be the kind of woman that shows her that growth isn't grinding, but it requires us taking deep roots. I've decided that I don't want to model burnout. I want to model becoming. I want to model what it looks like to be a rested woman. Thank you.